God sees you. Even if no one else sees you, even if no one else notices you, God can see you. And He sees everything that you do, and He sees the good things that you do as well, and the things that He's proud of you for seeing. Today, I was reading the book of Acts, in my favorite book, the Bible. And in Acts chapter 1, the disciples, after Jesus is taken up to heaven, there's only 11 of them because, one of them died, Judas, the betrayer, and they needed another one to come into their fold to become an apostle. But the only people who are eligible are those who are with them from the beginning. So from Jesus' baptism all the way until He was taken up, they needed someone who was always there. And there were two choices. The first choice was Matthias. The second choice was, his name was Joseph, something like that. I can check. You guys can fact check me. And they rolled the lots, and Matthias, he was chosen. And the thing that really stood out to me was I was thinking, he was always there, but maybe he sometimes felt he wasn't seen, He was always with Jesus. He was always there, but he was never a part of the special 12. So maybe did he sometimes feel left out? Did he sometimes feel that no one noticed him? Did he sometimes feel that he was ignored? I don't know his feelings, But what I do know is that he was faithful. He was there since the beginning, and he never left. Even when all the bad things happened to Jesus, when he was taken, when he was attacked, Matthias, he was there, and he was faithful. I can just imagine when Jesus is on the water, there's a big storm, and Jesus stands up in the boat to stop the storm. In that passage, there are other boats on the water with them. Matthias, he was there, he was seeing, not in the same boat, but a boat outside. So I can imagine him kind of see through the storm, the figure of Jesus just standing up, and suddenly everything's quiet. He wasn't in that same boat, but he was there. And he was faithful, and God saw him. Jesus saw him. Even though maybe he thought no one can see, God saw. And I want to encourage you that God sees you. Don't focus on the attention of others. Don't focus on how does that person perceive me. The perception of the Lord is more important than the perception of man, because man's perceptions always change. But God, He is always the same. He is consistent. He is always faithful. So if you are being faithful to Him, if you feel like, Lord, I'm doing all these things for you, but I feel like no one appreciates me, God appreciates you. He sees you. When I was doing worship at my church back in America, I was doing, piano, sometimes guitar. And I always felt that I was underappreciated because I have so much talent, and I give so much. And when there were times where my play was perfect, I felt, yeah, this is the one. No one would thank me. No one would come up to me and say, Eli, thank you for that. No one. And so I felt bitterness. I felt anger. Like, why would they not say anything to me? They should appreciate me more. But that was just my pride. It was just me, complaining. It was just my own selfishness and my own way of seeing the world, which is just through the lens of pride, where it's all about me. And I forgot that when we worship, it's not for the people out there. We're worshiping truly for an audience of one. And when we're worshiping, we should be focusing on Jesus. We should be focusing on Him. But I was just focusing on what people would say to me after. So I really believe that I actually hindered the worship because I wasn't focusing on Jesus. I was focusing on myself. And what I'm trying to say is that, even if you feel like no one sees you, God does. And even if you feel underappreciated, God appreciates you. He sees your work. Even if you are just a drop in the bucket of obscurity. No one sees you, no one will know you. That's okay. God sees all, and He remembers all as well. That should be something that both encourages us, but also gives us fear, because we know the Lord sees everything. So we should live our lives out with fear, not fear like, I can't do this, but the fear of respect, knowing that the Lord sees us, and we want to do our best for Him. When we serve, whatever we do it for Him. In 1 Corinthians 10:31, it says, whether you eat, drink, whatever you do all to the glory of God, not the glory of man, not the glory of your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, what else, your girlfriend, your parents, for the glory of God. Do it for him because he's the one that he sees you. He is our audience, the audience of one. Do it for him. Do your best. All right. I will see you later. Bye bye.